Hello, and welcome to day 3 of the October Adventures in Tarot Casting Challenge. This is my casting book. I wanted to show you this really quick. So it is a reflections sketchbook from Jerry's Art-A-Rama. I will link that in the notes. It's the perfect size for the casting stickers. Like, this is basically the book that we create them for, to be able to put them into the book. And in my particular book, I created this front page spread using some scrapbook papers and just kind of some stuff that I did on the Cricut. These, I'm gonna make more of these. They'll be in the shop, the die cut vinyl decals, if I can remember what that is. And then I gave myself this neat little table of contents so I know what's in this particular book. This is my newer one than other videos. And then I have, Illumination. I have the card from yesterday. And what I like to do is I like to basically take the information that I have written and I create with marker on this side, and then I'll add my own little notes, like the lamp has been lit, my eyes adjust to the light, I see what's in front of me, the periphery remains to be discovered. Just things that kind of inspire me with the concept of illumination. So let's get into this casting sticker. Basically, it was one of the first ones that I launched when I launched my new Patreon, the Creative Divination Circle, because I have the Spark tier and the Illumination tier. And the Illumination is the higher level. It's like $11 a month, and you get access behind the scenes and all things, plus a video of Create With Me, all that stuff. The Illumination is basically taking what it is, like, I like the idea of a lamppost. So we took the candle from the Spark, which we will address when we get to that card, and then we put it into a lantern. And I was thinking kind of like a hermit's lantern. It's just something that helps us light our way. So this particular spread is another one of the multi-casting ones. I have 3 tarot card size, and I also have an oracle card size here. So I'm actually going to use the center card. It's going to be an oracle, and then we're going to do the tarot on the sides. And then we have Lenormand tiles or tarot tiles above and below, and then 4 corners for charms or those words or spells or whatever other systems you might want to bring in. You could bring in crystals. You could leave them. You don't even have to use them. The idea is, with this spread, we are focusing on what is being illuminated, right? So for the decks that I chose, I have my charms. This bag is by Moonlit Fae, of course. I have my charms that I've been collecting. I have my Lenormand tiles for above and below. I'm going to use the Spirit Within Tarot by Stephen Bright. This is a great deck. And I'm also going to use this really adorable Feel Your Chakras Oracle by Andi Taylor. This was gifted to me at Newt's one year. They did end up doing a Kickstarter for it. Mine is a prototype. So we're gonna use that for the center card, which is the first position, and it's the lit candle. This is what we're looking at, right? This is the source of illumination, what is guiding our attention, and we're gonna be projecting it outwards. So with these spreads, they're always, like I said, always just suggestions, and you could use it, do a 3 card with it. You could just leave the candle by itself, or you could do the sides. Again, there's no right or wrong way. There's only suggestions to use these. I know that sometimes it can seem to be overwhelming because of all the placements, but again, it's just to invite you into this dialogue, right? Invite you into this space, invite you into looking at what needs to be lit up or what is lighting up in you. And it's basically, I like to think of them too kind of like as a choose your own adventure. So with this, we're like, okay, what is this? The lit candle is the first position, so what is being illuminated? This deck is very chunky. Luckily, the cardstock is super thin, so it helps. So let's see. What is being illuminated? An underactive root chakra. I am anxious. So yeah, if you're not feeling that right now in the world, I don't know what you're feeling, because I wake up anxious most days. I've learned that I am definitely in that space of high functioning anxiety. So what we could look at this and go, okay, well, what is being anxious? And with this spread, I wanted to kind of find some decks to pair with it. Like I said before, this is also a really good way for me to bust out some decks that I haven't used in a long time. And the Spirit Within was just kind of like honing in on me from the shelf. It said, pick me, pick me. So here it's picked. So now we're going to go to the staff. So on this particular spread, I tried to do the placements as far as the artwork. So the staff is the second card, and then the third card is the raven. Even though it's part of the tiles, it's overseeing this card here, because then the upper tiles are going to be like the rays of light coming out, and then the bottom tiles are going to be the footing, like what keeps us grounded even when, in this case, the anxiety, or I just keep hearing that Dochi song, the anxiety that's going through my head. But yeah, let's see. So the one on the second side here is the staff. This is what keeps the energy propped up. This is what is supporting the anxiety. And so that I wrote on the thing that it can be radiate evenly. So this is what's holding us up with this anxiety. Like maybe this is the thing that keeps giving it just a space to exist. Like why do we have it? I think anxiety is a very human thing. I know other animals do experience it, but we take ownership of it a lot of times. And it comes from that underactive root chakra, and it's not feeling safe in the world, right? Or maybe we're afraid that if we show up as our true self, like from yesterday's shadow spread, we'll be judged. And that's a shame thing that happens, But right now we're going to look at what's propping up the anxiousness. And so the staff, this is what keeps it propped up, right? And we have the Hanged One. I love when they almost mirror the image, right? So we have, I am anxious, and you can just put this here, and it's the Hanged Man. And we have the staff, which is also reflected in this tree. And you can also see, like, it's got us upside down. Like, the tree is solid, but we're still feeling like frozen in place because we are just being supported, like we're upside down. That's the only thing I can think of, So then we're going to go into the raven, and that raven is the message from beyond the periphery, beyond what we can see, where the shadows meet the diffused rays. And this is where it wants to be noticed, even if it has to be a little bit more aggressive. This is what cannot be ignored. It will not allow it to be. Even if you don't see it, maybe you're hearing the callings or the tuggings, And so when doing this, it's a good way to be like, okay, let's see how they work together. This is the conversation that is unfolding with these spreads and these stages. And then we have the Fool. And the Fool is like coming out. Oh my God, this is the perfect deck to pick for this because of the rays of light. So we have like that anxiety's being spotlit, the lit candle. And then it's being propped up by feeling upside down, maybe in our world. And then the raven is saying, hey, don't worry about being a fool. Don't worry about showing up and being foolish. You might be anxious, but do it anyway. The Fool knows that they're anxious and they own it. And so that's kind of where the rays, like what we see meets the unknown, and the unknown takes a foolish perspective, right? So then we're going to go with the Lenormand, and I'm going to add them this way. I'm going to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I do it that way so they're not like 3 in a row, and usually it layers it in a way that feels a little bit more mixed. And just for fun, let's do it this way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so then we go 4 and 5. I mean, I guess I could have just showed them, but I like the reveal. It feels more dramatic. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. So the above becomes part of those rays of light. Like it's the stuff that's like radiating outward. It's going up. It feels like the fool's rays going this way. And then we have the letter, the stars, and the garden. So you would read those 3 as a 3-card spread from Lenormand. But also trust anything that might pop up. Like the stars, you might hear wish upon a star, even though you know that if you study Lenormand, you know that that's not necessarily what that means. But you could just say, okay, we're hearing notes from the prophecy in our garden. So the rays of light is saying, you know what? It feels like, even though there's some anxiety about it and you feel upside down, writing the email, sending out the letters, reaching out to your peers, I think that's the step that's going to help you go out and be a little bit foolish in the world. And then the bottom, this is, so the ray of light I have on here, this is knowledge gathered, facts that can never be unseen or unlearned. And so with that, we go, okay, anxiety about it, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of correspondence, right? And it's coming from the world at large, and it feels prophetic, but it might not be, And then the bottom here, I have these as the footing. And so this is what holds the lamppost up. And what we've been taught that may need reevaluation. These are actions to take to see if this knowledge aligns with our current values and foundations. Is the ground level or is it uneven? So down here you could see there's an abundance of feeling blocked and feeling maybe a little bit like shady, ill intentions. Like there's just a lot going on which is keeping you from moving forward. And that needs to be reevaluated in this particular placement of the spread, because it says, do you align with this? And if you don't, then maybe this is what the rays are telling you, how to get into this foolish perspective. When I start to ramble in readings, that's when I say, okay, it's time to bring in the charms, to wrap it up, the guideposts. These are the helpers in the illumination. So these are things to kind of keep with us as we get our as the daylight comes, and then we embrace that fool, right? And so with charms, I always just kind of shuffle like this. And sometimes sometimes I do it for a set amount of time, and sometimes I'll just stop when it feels right. It feels right. And so we have the acorn. And so that's that. And I also have something else in my hand, which is just going to go over here. And so this is like a little pillbox type of poison box charm. So that's like a box. And then we have scissors. We'll put that there. And what is this? A dragon's claw with an onyx sphere. And so those as helpers can chime in throughout the whole reading, or they can just say, be kind of like little trinkets that you can carry that you can charge from the casting sticker. Especially if it's like a really good reading for yourself and you're like, oh, I want to take those with me today and put them in my pocket. And every time you touch them, you can remember the message of the reading. The acorn could tell you that even though there is anxiety, you have the seed of potential to be something so much bigger. I always think of the acorns. We have so many right now because of fall happening. And to see an acorn become a mighty oak, not all of them make it. Some of them become deer food, but just the fact that that seed is there is pretty amazing. And then we have this box, and this could be, maybe there's parts that you need to just kind of put in a box and put it off to the side so that you don't have to carry it with you anymore. You could write a letter and put them in the box and let it go to the universe or to whatever, higher power, whatever. And then on the full moon, you could light it on fire and just release it. Always use safety when you're using fire. And then we have the scissors, and the scissors are saying, you get to curate, you get to cut the things that you want to put in your life. You get to decide what stays and what goes, what you need to cut out, right? And then the dragon claw with the onyx, it's like a little onyx bead. Lets me know that if you believe in dragons, you could work with the dragon stuff. It's like a talisman from something that's so much bigger than us. The onyx is a link to ancestors, so you could see that no matter what is going on, your ancestors know, and they are ready and here to protect. You know, so those are the kind of things, like whatever comes through, there's no wrong way to do these readings. And I know I mentioned in the first video to record them. Do a setup, just try to record them, try to listen to them back when you're not in that zone, and see what else comes through. If you're a journaler, you can write some more later. When I do my videos for the week, the weekly, you know, collective readings, I always do the video first and then I write the written afterwards. And it's amazing how there's more details that come up. So sometimes it's why I share them on Substack. It's why I share them in my newsletter as well, because I feel like they both go together. They are like the little tidbits that maybe I left behind that the writing picked up on the way. Okay, we get to the point now where we are going to pick tomorrow's spread. I'm gonna move this out of the way and see what we're gonna do tomorrow. So tomorrow we have Medusa's Reflection. So that'll be fun to pair some decks with. I'll see you here tomorrow for day 4. Thanks. Bye.